Now let's talk about stockholders and members. Okay, so whenever we talk about shares of a stockholder, we discuss the doctrine of equality of shares. The doctrine of equality of shares promote the equality of all shares. This is a basic principle in corporation law, which ensures that all shares of the same class are treated equally in terms of rights, privileges, and restrictions. So the presumption is all shares are the same. And if all shares are the same, they have same rights, privileges, and restrictions. The only exception is if in the articles of incorporation, there is a categorization of shares. In Section 6 of the Revised Corporation Code, says that the shares of stock within the same class must be equal in all respects unless otherwise stated in the Articles of Incorporation or the Certificate of Stock. So this is pursuant to the non-discrimination of stockholders in the corporation. So this principle is crucial in protecting the rights of shareholders and maintaining fairness in corporate governance. So for as long as a stockholder belongs to the same class or his shares belong to the same class, then he enjoys the same rights and privileges as those belonging to the same class. So all shares of the same class must have identical rights and privileges. That's the doctrine of equality of shares. Now, when can there be distinction in rights and privileges? There can be a distinction in the rights and privileges of the shares if they belong to different classes. Now, what if the articles of incorporation is silent on the classes as well as the rights and privileges? Then the answer is we presume that all the shares have the same rights and privileges. Take note of this landmark case, Gamboa versus Teves, 2011, where the Supreme Court explained the meaning of capital. Okay, what do we mean by capital? Okay, so the term capital refers to shares entitled to vote in the election of directors, scoring that the principle that shares of the same class must have equal voting rights unless otherwise provided in the Articles of Incorporation. So capital refers to those shares entitled to vote in the election of directors. Now, bakit kailangang i-emphasize yan? Well, this is particularly true in determining the compliance of corporations engaged in nationalized industries as well as compliance with the investment requirement. Yung 60-40 na naman relative to the control test and the beneficial ownership test. So how do we determine whether the share of stockholders is Filipino share and if it is a foreign share? So depending on the kind of a corporation, kung ang pinag-uusapan ay nationalized corporations and you need to apply the beneficial ownership test, you also look into the capital. So who are the stockholders who have shares entitled to vote in the election of directors? So diyan mo malalaman kung may compliance with the 60-40 split if this alleged 60% Filipino-owned shares are capital or part of capital, meaning they are shares entitled to vote in the election of directors. Kasi nagiging problema usually is in the Articles of Incorporation, they limit the rights and privileges of the shares. So even if there is a 60% Filipino ownership, if their shares are limited such that they cannot elect directors, or they cannot participate in particular corporate affairs, then under the beneficial ownership test, they are not part of the so-called capital, and the corporation might fail with the nationalization rule. Let's look at some examples on how we apply the doctrine of equality of shares in terms of voting rights. In a stock corporation, if a shareholder owns 100 shares of common stock, then he is entitled to 100 votes in the election of directors. You have another shareholder with the same class of shares, common stock, and the same number of shares, then under the doctrine of equality of shares, then that other shareholder must also have or entitled to 100 votes. So this equality ensures fairness in corporate decision making. The doctrine of equality of shares has an implication also on dividend distribution. So if dividends are declared by the corporation and distributed to stockholders, then such privilege must be applied equally to stockholders holding shares belonging to the same class. As in this example, if a corporation declares a dividend of 10 pesos per share for common stockholders, then all holders of common stock must receive the same amount per share. So a shareholder with 1,000 shares will receive 10,000 pesos kasi 10 pesos per share. While another stockholder with common shares, 500 naman yung shares niya, will receive 5,000 pesos. So 500 times 10 pesos. So the dividend rate per share must be uniform for all shares of the same class. That's another application of the doctrine of equality of shares. Now question, how about those shares classified under the Articles of Incorporation as non-voting shares? Di parang wala na silang rights. If you look at the provisions of the Revised Corporation Code, one class of shares which may be deprived of voting rights is the so-called preferred shares. Yung preferred shares may be deprived of voting rights. However, such deprivation is not absolute deprivation. The holders of non-voting shares or preferred shares are still entitled to vote on specific matters like in the amendment of the Articles of Incorporation, mergers or consolidation, and on the dissolution of a corporation. If you remember our discussion on the exercise of specific powers of the corporation, yung mga actions requiring super majority, yung 2/3 vote from stockholders, yung mga non-voting shares also participate there. Yung sa amendment of the Articles of Incorporation under general powers, the RCC also requires super majority vote for the approval of the amendment. So preferred non-voting shares still participate in these corporate actions. So this ensures that even non-voting shares are treated equally in these specific instances. So it would be wrong to assume that preferred non-voting shares do not vote at all in corporate affairs. There are several specific instances that non-voting shares are still entitled to vote. Okay, under Section 6, ang basic rule is doctrine of equality of shares, diba? Basta your shares belong to one class, this class will have the same rights and privileges. However, Section 6 also provides that the Articles of Incorporation can provide limitations on the shares. So a corporation for example, may issue preferred shares with specific privileges such as priority in dividend payments, coupled with yung downside niya naman, limited or no voting rights. Meaning, the owner of preferred shares cannot vote, okay, in several corporate affairs except those provided by the Revised Corporation Code and the Articles of Incorporation. Tapos, maliban sa pagtatalaga ng preferred shares with specific privileges and no voting rights, shares may also be classified into different series. Series with varying rights, yung Series A at saka Series B, where Series A has higher dividend rates than those belonging to Series B. So, pwedeng magkakaroon ng ganyan, magkakaibang classes, and yung classes na yan will be divided into series, and each series as compared to the other series may have higher privileges than the other series. So basta nakalagay yan sa Articles of Incorporation, it does not violate the doctrine of equality of shares. So for purposes of the bar exam, questions involving the doctrine of equality of shares may include hypothetical scenarios where shareholders are treated unequally, application of Section 6 of the Revised Corporation Code, and also on the exceptions to the rule. Okay, so let's try to answer a hypothetical question, okay, that may possibly be asked. ABC Corporation has two classes of shares, common share and preferred share. The Articles of Incorporation provide that preferred shares are non-voting except on matters involving amendments to the Articles of Incorporation. During a stockholders meeting, the corporation declared a dividend of 5 pesos per share for common stockholders, but only 3 pesos per share for preferred stockholders. Now question, is there a discrimination? Is there a valid basis for the difference in dividends distributed? Is this violative of the doctrine of equality of shares? Well, answer is, okay, walang violation dito. Okay? The act of the corporation is valid and does not violate the doctrine of equality of shares. Section 6 of the Revised Corporation Code allows for differences in rights and privileges between classes of shares for as long as they are explicitly provided in the Articles of Incorporation. In the problem, the distinction between the two classes, namely common and preferred, as well as rights and privileges of each share, are provided in the Articles of Incorporation. So, since there is an Articles of Incorporation classifying the shares into common and preferred with different rights, then the unequal dividend declaration is valid. And this aligns with the classification of shares and does not violate the doctrine of equality of shares. Well, the bottom line of the doctrine of equality of shares is that there can be differences in rights and privileges for as long as the shares belong to different classes. Sa different classes yan. Pero kung same classes, they must have the same right and privileges. Now let's talk about how stockholders and members participate in management. So while it is true that ownership and management are two different things in a corporation, stockholders can also participate in the management of a corporation during election of directors, during the amendment of corporate documents such as the Articles of Incorporation, and also when the corporate action requires their approval. So in this situation, stockholders or members directly participate in the management of the corporation. So if a stockholder or member will directly participate as in the election of directors. Paano siya magpa-participate? He participates by exercising his right to vote. Okay? Stockholders participate in the management of a corporation primarily through his or her voting rights. Okay? This is exercised during stockholders meetings where his or her vote on the election of directors, amendments, or any issue requiring his approval is taken into consideration. Once the directors are elected already by the stockholders, then it would be the role of the directors or trustees to manage the corporation's business and affairs. So the stockholders' influence on the management of the corporation is said to be indirectly by electing directors who reflect or mirror their interests. So if you look at the dynamics, as far as management of the corporation, stockholders members directly participate through the election of directors. And once the directors are elected, then stockholders' influence on the management is only indirect as their elected directors are presumed to mirror their will. Again, yung mga walang voting rights na shares or what we call non-voting shares, do they have voting rights? Okay? Answer is, meron rin. Non-voting shares such as preferred shares are still entitled to vote on critical matters like number 1, amendments to the Articles of Incorporation. Number 2, adoption or amendment of bylaws. Number 3, sale or disposition of substantially all corporate property. Number 4, mergers or consolidation. Number 5, dissolution of the corporation. So in these instances, even if the stockholder owns a non-voting share, such as a preferred share, he still exercises voting rights. So I repeat, non-voting shares, such as preferred shares, are also entitled to vote on specific matters. Now, if we talk about voting requirements, these include the requirement of quorum. So whenever there is a corporate meeting, whether it's a stockholder meeting or a board meeting, the meeting must comply with the quorum requirement. Such as in stockholders meeting, okay, the quorum must consist of stockholders representing a majority of the outstanding capital stock. Failure to achieve this, okay, results to an invalid meeting. Now take note also of majority and supermajority votes. Some corporate actions require only majority vote, while other corporate actions require supermajority vote. Question, yung amendment ng Articles of Incorporation, ano yung voting requirement for the approval of the amendment by the stockholders? Answer is supermajority. Diba? When the corporation exercises a specific corporate power, like sale of all or substantially all corporate property, what is the voting requirement as far as the approval of stockholders or members? Supermajority na naman. Okay? So certain actions require the vote of at least 2/3 of the outstanding capital stock or 2/3 of all the members. Now take note also, if allowed by the corporate bylaws, stockholders may use the so-called cumulative voting in the election of directors. So we already discussed this before. It's just a reiteration on this specific topic.